Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another van life vlog in Japan. Today and tomorrow is going to look a bit different because I want to show you more of a day in the life of van life. In my normal videos, I'm exploring an entire region or prefecture, and I skip by a lot of the more day-to-day things and the van life routine things because, well, quite honestly, I think it's a bit boring. But I think for a lot of you maybe wanting to van life in Japan, those things are very useful to know. And while exploration is a day-to-day thing for me, there are some days where I'm more just chilling in the van, editing, finding a place to work out, finding a place to bathe like an onsen or sento. And I want to show more of that in this video. No fluff, I don't have anything crazy planned today. I'm really just going to show you what it's like to live in a van, especially in winter, because winter poses some even more problems than van life does in fall, summer, spring. Anyway, I just woke up here at Lake Nojiri in Nagano, and to get the day started, I usually don't film and I don't look at my phone. I just get outside, get some sunlight in my eyes, and go for a little walk to get the day started. So let's go. And here's the public bathroom. I almost always make sure to find one to park nearby. Makes things a lot easier. Well, it's a beautiful sunny day here in Nagano, and the temperatures are quite nice. I don't think it got any colder than -5 last night, which is a huge improvement from a couple weeks ago when I was in this area. There was 2 meters of fresh snow in the last week, and the temperatures were between -10 and -15 at night, which makes things really uncomfortable when sleeping and just when trying to get work done or cooking in the van. So it made me seek out a lot more cafes or eating out to escape the cold. So I reckon today I'm probably just gonna spend time in the van because it'll warm up quite quickly with the sun, which is nice. All right, post-morning walk, it's time for some brekkie. Man, it is getting hot already. Like, damn. All right, well, first things first, I need to get the bed set up into a table. Ta-da! Normally I keep breakfast super simple in the van. If you watched my winter cabin stay 2 videos ago, that is not the normal breakfast I make. I wish, but I just cannot deal with that cleanup twice in one day. So I make meals for dinner, and then I have leftovers, those leftovers for lunch, and then breakfast I keep stuff simple that I don't really need to do much cleanup. So here's what's on the menu. Protein shake, cereal with either soy or almond milk, usually fruit, and natto. Super simple. See, like, I don't even want to use a cutting board because I don't want to dirty it. In a regular life, I don't like to eat cereal that much, but it's just the easiest thing. And there's this protein cereal you can get at most grocery stores in Japan, so, you know, for the games. And this is when I'll take the opportunity to finally open up my phone, check my emails, socials, and all that. Like I said, didn't get that cold last night, but my water's still slushy. What am I making, a cocktail? No, I'm not eating it with rice because, again, that would just be too much cleanup. And in winter, I often don't sleep very well, so I need help from coffee to wake up and get some work done. time to get to work. And what work, you may ask? Well, I say that because I still get a lot of new viewers that ask me how I'm able to afford this lifestyle. So I want to dispel any confusion. Well, yes, on the surface, it may look like I'm just out here enjoying my life, traveling and creating, which I do genuinely enjoy, but that's not the full story. People usually think about it from the perspective of their own travels where they're on vacation. But my travels are my work. So all those scenes that you see me enjoying somewhere, exploring, actually takes hours of prep time and shooting and editing, which is all work that I do enjoy. And number two, this lifestyle is actually much cheaper than a traditional lifestyle. Living in a van means I don't need to pay rent or mortgage, or, I just bought this van outright and it's now my home. And how do I earn money? Well, through YouTube ads, through social media sponsorships, through photography and videography gigs. Well, it's pretty much all related to me and a camera. And I want to be clear that I don't make a lot of money, but it is enough to sustain my travels. But enough blabbering, I have a video to edit from when I was in Tokyo last week, so time to get to work. So as I mentioned earlier, the temperatures have been really nice, so that means I don't have to go to a cafe or co-working space to do some work. I mean, look at this. I'm in a shirt in my van in the middle of winter. It's just been so warm comparatively. Because it's quite hard to find cafes that have outlets or co-working spaces. So in January, I was in Hakuba, where there's a really nice co-working space there that's free, has fast Wi-Fi, it's heated. It was so nice. But here near Myoko, there's nothing really. There aren't even any chain places like Gusto or Komeda where I often work when I'm in the countryside. But on that note, I do have co-working places pinned on my Ultimate Van Life Japan map if you're in a similar position as me and you're looking for places to do work. Alright, we're full on production mode here. I'm currently editing the video that will have been posted before this one. Got DaVinci open here, got Lightroom editing the photos that I took for that video, actually with the tilt lens. Hope you guys watched that one. I'm quite excited with how it turned out. Right, I gotta pause here. It's funny because my old job I couldn't wait till lunch, but now it's like I want to keep working. I have to force myself to eat. Alright, so as I mentioned, I make leftovers, enough for leftovers for lunch with my dinner, so I don't have to cook twice in a day. And today, I've got some kind of rice, fried rice concoction. Alright, don't judge, this is not my proudest meal, but I had a whole bag of shrimp that I had to get rid of last night. So I dumped it all in here with some other ingredients that I had in my fridge. Doesn't taste bad, and it's pretty healthy. Normally I also have kimchi, but I've recently ran out, so I need to go pick some up. Alright, we're gonna get a tad bit more work done before going to find some place to work out. Alrighty, here we go. Alright, I found a nearby park that I can hopefully do a bit of a workout in. If you've been watching for a while, I even did a workout on my YouTube live one time, so check it out if you're interested in how I keep fit. But on the way there, I want to talk about real quick some of the challenges. I went over this fairly extensively in one of my Hokkaido videos last year, so check that out if you want to know more about the winter challenges. So some of the challenges include everything freezing, of course, so I don't even bother filling my water tanks because they would not even work. I wouldn't be able to use my sink, so I can't do dishes in the winter, so I end up eating out quite a bit more, which is unfortunate. Spend a bit more money, and I have to buy bottled water for all my cooking and obviously drinking too. My battery situation is a lot better this year thanks to my friend Ryan from Izu. because number one, he lent me one of his batteries, so I have double the capacity right now, I believe. And also as a little Christmas present, he got me this little pet heater, I think, that's meant for rabbits or reptiles or something, that he stuck between the batteries, so it keeps them a little bit warm if I keep the power on all night, so that I don't wake up in the morning to frozen batteries that need to be charged up once again. The other big issue is driving. My van is still two-wheel drive. It hasn't magically become a four-wheel drive, but I did get sturdier chains this year. My chains from last year were from Amazon, kind of cheap, and they snapped on me. So I bought some proper ones at Yellow Hat, which is an auto shop chain in Japan. They were about twice the price, but these bad boys are thick, and they have gotten me up some hills that I normally would not be able to get up. So anyway, I've gotten comments and concerns from some of you guys, which I really appreciate, wondering why I would do this to myself if there's so many challenges of van life in winter, or in the snowy regions anyways. Why don't I just escape to more southern latitudes? Like, for example, Izu is just, I think, 4 hours away from here, and it's at a subtropical latitude, and it's super pleasant even at this time of year. Like, you know, in mid-December, I was just in a shirt and shorts on a sunny day, of course. So why would I put myself through this when there are much warmer, more comfortable areas that I could go to? Well, the answer is simple. It's because I'm Canadian. No, but in all seriousness, I've wanted to get back into skiing after over a decade of not doing much. Plus, I want to build a winter sports portfolio so that I can work with outdoor brands all throughout the year and not just hiking season. Not to mention, winter in Japan is just absolutely gorgeous in the snowy regions. It's just a completely different vibe from the other seasons, and the non-snowy regions in Japan just look bad. Everything is dead, everything is brown and drab. They just do not look nice. And at this stage in my freelancing career, it's not like I'm making enough that I can just fork out money on accommodations all the time. So to achieve these goals, then I just need to tough it out in the van. And it's also much harder to find places to park than in other seasons, because a lot of the public parking lots that I normally park in are completely snowed over and not maintained. A lot of campgrounds are closed too if you use those. So really the only options are michinoekis, or roadside stations, or if you get lucky, some large open parking lots. Okay, I've arrived at my workout spot, but it is a soccer field that is covered in about almost a meter of snow, it looks like. So we'll see if I can even do what I need to do. I gotta put on my gaiters to access the soccer field, otherwise I'm gonna get snow all in my feet, all in my shoes. Alright, locked and loaded. There seems to be a slight depression here that I'm going to try to follow. Oh, it's quite packed. Thank goodness. Oh, just kidding. That was not scripted. Okay. I'm going to be careful of that. Not going to follow the depression after all. Alright, so this is all the workout equipment I need to get a good pole workout in. But this one's a bit low, head height, so I'm gonna maybe go to one of these across the field. I get asked fairly often how I remain fit on the road, so I wanted to briefly show you one of my routines. I normally only use my body weight and these bands, but for back and bicep days, I do need something in order to pull my body weight, so typically I'll find a nearby soccer field, swings in a playground, or occasionally I get lucky and find a legit pull-up bar. My workouts typically last an hour to an hour and a half with 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 12 reps for each exercise, and stretching or just dancing in between, because one, I'm pretty hyperactive, and on days where I spend hours editing, I need to release all that pent up energy, and two, I need to hype myself up when I'm working out alone on a random field in the mountains in winter. Alright, workout done. Gonna head into town, and not to find an onsen, not gonna hit an onsen today because I just went to one yesterday, and spoiler alert, you can't onsen or shower every single day in van life. I know it's rough, but once every 2 to 3 days is usually my thing. Just depends if I'm sweaty or not. In that workout, didn't sweat too much, but tomorrow I'm going skiing, which I guarantee I will be sweating, so I'm gonna save the onsen for tomorrow. You really can't be going to onsens every single day unless you're loaded with both money and time, because on average, you're probably gonna spend 600 yen on an onsen, and obviously it takes a lot more time than just hopping in your shower in your house. But the onsen town that I'm going to be skiing at tomorrow is pretty vibey, I think, from what I've seen, and now that the snow is falling, I'm hoping I can get some nice night shots, walk around a little bit because I've done a lot of work today, and then find some dinner because I have not been able to do dishes today. Yeah, this looks vibey over here. Alright, this is the place I've decided on for dinner. Man, I am snowed on. One of my favorite parts about van life is these quiet winter nights, provided it's not extremely cold, which I swear it isn't despite my appearance and my breath currently being visible. I just get a couple hours to edit and piece together these stories that I've been documenting. And given that my videos are often a chill, relaxing vibe, it's a great way to wind down before heading to sleep. And music plays a huge role in dictating that vibe. If you ask any filmmaker, finding the right song is always one of the hardest parts of the process. You can spend hours scrolling through, not quite finding the right fit. But in the last year and a bit of doing YouTube, that's completely changed for me. A lot of you watching have given me a ton of positive feedback regarding my music selection. And that's in large part thanks to Musicbed. It's the music licensing platform I've been using since I started YouTube. It's built for storytellers. Every song is from a real artist, handpicked by their team. If you're a filmmaker or content creator who really cares about craft, you'll know how much the right song can elevate your story. Musicbed makes that process simple without compromising on quality. If you want to try it out, you can switch to Musicbed and start a 14-day free trial using my link below. Honestly, once you experience how good your stories can feel with the right music, it's hard to go back. Man, I had such a terrible sleep because the snow plows were working all night and I kept getting woken up by them. It's the other issue with van life, the few parking lots that you can park in. Well, there's a reason you can park in them because they're cleared all throughout the season by snow plows and they always operate at night. Anyway, lots of snow seems to have fallen last night, so big day of skiing ahead. Alright, the van is back in igloo mode. It's actually not too bad. I may need chains to get out of here though. I'm gonna go scope it out. Yeah, I think just to be safe, I'm gonna put them on, even though the roads look all right. a camera just in case. Alright, let's roll out. And that is why I endure winter van life. Alright, made it back to Hakuba, and I wanted to show you guys real quick what's basically been my home for the past month and a half. Of course, I've been bouncing around a little bit. I went to Myoko, I went to Nozawa, I went to Tokyo a couple times, but I would say I probably slept at this parking lot for 50% of the last month and a half. So you can see it is quite a large lot. Hardly anyone on this side. That corner spot is usually one I like if there's no one there. This is only one of two places you can park basically in Hakuba in the winter, so on weekends it gets absolutely packed with campers and just people doing shachu haku, basically sleeping in their cars. But yeah, you can see it's a far cry from the spots I usually like to sleep in other seasons. It's loud, there's lots of cars, it's far from charming, but it's just what you gotta do. These guys also have slept here pretty much every single night since I've been here for the past month. It actually converts into a food truck. I saw them at the local grocery store the other day. Whoa, is it just me or is this lighting kinda cinematic? Well, it ended up being a bit more than a day in the life, but I wanted to show the kind of two more common types that I've had this winter. Similar to last year with Hokkaido, I was just focused on the Alps this winter. I was a lot less mobile than in other seasons where I've roamed across entire regions, and that really just goes back to my goal of wanting to get back into skiing. And I have to say that living in a van in the cold has really weighed on me. Like I just haven't had a good night's sleep in the last month and a half, and that's due to many factors, as I've mentioned a couple times. The limited parking spots that are often beside busy roads or with a bunch of other cars around. And obviously on just really cold nights, it's hard to get a good night's sleep as well. And literally just being cold all the time gets to you. My only relief is when I'm at an onsen or at a co-working spot, but otherwise I'm cooking, I'm working, I'm sleeping in the cold, and it's just exhausting being uncomfortably cold all the time. And then there's driving that just gets stressful when the snowstorms hit. I hit a couple snowbanks this year and I'm still missing my left side mirror from that collision, but it could have been worse. And it's just much harder to stay on top of my fitness routine, which is a core part of staying on top of my mental health. These are not complaints. I realize it's fully within my control to not be in the colder regions of Japan. I just want to be transparent about the flip side of what I normally post. I think it's easy to think that I'm just living the perfect life when you see pictures of incredible powder or beautiful views of the Alps. And to me, it's worth enduring that month and a half of cold, especially since I envision a future where winters are fully based around skiing. I've met some great people here and had a few fantastic ski days, and I hope that's just a taste of what the future holds. But now I'm preparing to leave the Alps for more southern latitudes, so I'm really excited to not have to deal with these winter issues, and I'm super excited for some spring warmth. My next video will be back to my usual cinematic travel vlog style, but with a slight twist that I hope will be relatable to more people. You'll see what I mean. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in this time. I hope you got some good insights about winter van life in Japan. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next adventure. Gotta get back on the set.